Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from AnthonysCustoms, and for this review we are looking at the DC Multiverse Justice League version of Cyborg, which is going to be, I think it's going to be a topic of some contention. I'm going to guess a lot of people won't like this super high-tech looking Cyborg, and a lot of people will be like, yes, that's a really cool looking Cyborg, I like that storyline for him. So I'm not going to really talk about the design direction, I'm only really going to be talking about the execution of the figure, because I'm kind of in the middle of the whole thing. I really like the more classic looking Cyborg, but this is probably going to look really cool once it's on screen too. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just shy of 17 centimeters, which makes him pretty close to like 6 5/8 inches. And it's very shiny. They did a good job with the silver. It's definitely very reflective, and it looks really cool. The paint on the chest has kind of like an airbrush effect to make it look like it's glowing. Unfortunately, the part that's not really airbrushed is a really kind of, I don't know, milky looking paint. It doesn't quite have the right effect. It's not terrible. If you don't look at it too close, it won't really be a problem, but it definitely could be better. They did mix a tiny little bit on the back. That's it, just a little bit on the back, but the silver is continued throughout, so that's nice. As far as the face goes, it is painted really cleanly. I like that. I was a little bit worried about that. It's a lot of edge work to do on a face, and that would stand out a lot. And they did a good job with the hair, the two different silvers, and then the eyes, and the little blue thing. It's all very clean, and the likeness is probably good enough. He does come with one accessory, which is his interchangeable arm. I could only get it to swap out on the right side, though the left side looks like it probably could. Mine would not come off. And then the little blue things painted on the arm are very nicely done. So, the big deal about this guy is he's all new sculpt, obviously, so they put some money in that. Is the sculpt any good? I'm going to say it's okay for most of it, but for me, this transition from the shoulder to the chest looks really weird. And the fact that they didn't work it in ab crunch is also a bummer, because they would have really been able to hide it in there very well. Now, here's the thing about the shoulders. They're very big, and the chest is very narrow, and the head is seated really far back on the torso, and the shoulders are very far forward, so it's a very awkward looking figure, unless you pose him in certain ways to hide all of that. Another thing that's a little bit weird is how thick the biceps are going this way. It's just a very weird design. I don't know. It's very odd. So it can look okay when you pose him up a little bit, but you can even see he's kind of got like this curvature in his spine, which is normal, but it looks like he's actually leaning back perpetually, so it's a little odd. So as far as the head goes, you can kind of tuck the chin into the neck, which isn't ideal. You can also make it look up a little bit, but it doesn't really want to stay, so it doesn't really help. You can't pose the head that much other than just rotating it. Now it does lean a little bit, so that's good, I guess. So you can lean it and look it off to the side, and then it kind of hides it if you're going to pose him, but it's still very weird. Shoulders work just fine because they're humongous. They're very large shoulder joints. Very, very strange. Bicep swivel is fine, but it's ugly, so that's weird. Elbow joint is 90 degrees single jointed elbow. It's kind of well hidden just because he's so lumpy looking, but it's just, I don't know. A lot of this figure just looks really weird, and it's going to take a lot to pose him. It kind of probably focus on other better looking figures from the bunch in order to make this one look okay. And then you get your wrist swivel at the forearm for the interchangeability, but like I said, that one won't pop off for me. This one will. No ab crunch. Waist twist is okay. Hips are DCUC style hips, so it's definitely ugly, and they do get good range though. Bringing the legs forward, almost 90 degrees, so that's okay. They go back just a tiny bit. You get a thigh swivel down at the bottom here, and it's a crooked swivel, so that's not ideal. You can see the line is kind of at an angle. Not completely, but a little bit. Then the knees, a little bit less than 90, single joint, pretty ugly. I'm curious about this design for him, though. I will mention this just briefly. Some of it has this like aluminum foil effect where it looks like it's kind of like a, I don't know, a movable metal. And then we have the very mechanical looking parts underneath. So I'm curious how that's going to play out. Like for the knees, the hips, the elbows, very mechanical. But then this just looks like some kind of, I don't know, like living metal type situation. So we'll see how that goes. And then lastly, for the ankles, we have a little bit of range going back and a decent range going forward. No ankle rocker. So this guy, I think, is easily the worst of the bunch. Even with Superman being mostly reused parts, he looks way better. And this guy just does not look good. It's going to be very hard for this guy to look good on a shelf. Other than it's very shiny and has decent paint here and there. That's about it. So I don't know, if you're not going to buy all of them, I would say skip this guy. If you are going to buy all of them, then you don't really need me to say any more. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you come back for that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. And in the meantime, keep collecting.